Well, hello, hello. Happy Monday. Welcome to another episode of Buckless Coach Web Show Live. Well, hello, happy Monday. And today is a very special episode. It is Muscle Cars Monday. So, a little quick information on this show. I am a travel agent and podcaster, and I created this show so I could share what my friends are doing, what excursion companies are doing, and just making the most of the dash. We have a day that we're born, and we have a day that we pass away. What are you doing to make the most of that dash? A really quick plug for StreamYard. If you are a small to medium sized business and you would like a video podcast just like this one, simply go to StreamYard.com. And if you'd like to comment on Facebook today, please go to StreamYard.com/Facebook so we can see your comments and then come back here to Buckless Coach Web Show and comment. So today is so important. Patrick and we share a really close friendship. With our friend Dano, which was very sad in December. He passed away. But the one thing that's really important is we shared a great friend who has touched so many lives, and his legacy is continuing on. So really quickly about me, my very first car was a 71 Bug, and my dream car is a 69 Camaro. So I have my friend Patrick here with PCTV Comfort Vision. Make sure that you go to YouTube. You're going to hit that subscribe button. You're going to hit that bell icon to get notified of more awesome videos. And of course, if you comment, we will actually gift you a 3-night vacay. So make sure that you check that out. And then once you do that, go to 3nightgiveaway.com. Patrick, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you, Cindy. It's great to be here. And you're right. We're good friends, and we've had a lot of fun together. And you've been quite a coach to me. And thank you for your advice and everything like this. You know, I don't have any experience doing this. I'm a process engineer full time, and I'm part of the club Surf City Classics. So I'm pretty boring. All I do is figure out how to make stuff boost and how to move hydraulic fluid. That's my job all day. But I'm also a hot rod fanatic, and I love being part of Dano's life and being part of the script and the rolling group that was part of Dano's plan, I guess. I don't know if you want to call it that. So thank you for having me.
Thank you. So tell everybody why you started this YouTube page over at PCTV Comfort Vision.
Well, Dano was a really special guy who touched so many different people's lives. And in losing my friend, it was sorry, I'm very emotional right now, just even trying to talk about it. It's really difficult to still talk about. But the reason why I did this was to get a sense of catharsis. I didn't do this for any other reason. I wanted to feel what Dano felt. I wanted to be in Dano's shoes and to get a feeling of what it was to be like Dano. And you know what? I'll never get within 100,000 yards of where Dano was. But what this has done for me is it's given me a much greater appreciation, and it's given me a stronger connection to my friend. You know, one of the things that I always was very happy about is that when Dano got his glasses smashed at SEMA, I actually went and found an original pair of red Ray-Bans in December of 2019, and I replaced his original glasses. They were vintage 1980s Ray-Bans. He didn't even have a pair of that vintage, and I found them perfect. That to him was the kindest gesture, and it never has left me. And, you know, I just know that somewhere he's looking down on us with a smile and knowing that we're moving forward. You know, there's a lot of people out there that are working to do this. I'm just one person. I don't know how I've been able to do this, but I've produced over 150 completely produced videos within 90 days. I have over 5,000 watch hours on a channel that I just created at the end of January. I'm moving toward, I just passed 250 subscribers, and the goal is that I want to go to Dano live. and meaning that I want to be able to do live YouTube and dedicate each and every one of my broadcasts to the memory of Dano and to help move the community forward and to try to get through the pain of his loss. This for me, like I said, has been very cathartic, and it's really been helpful in trying to deal with the loss of our friend. And there you go. I think that's about as basic as it gets. And I love cars and I like people.
Yeah, me too. Actually, I'll tell you my story of how I met Dano. I was planning to move to the Huntington Beach area about like 4 or 5 years ago. So I'm like, wow, who is this guy? He's here in Monterey at some car show. Wow, I'm from Northern California. I'm gonna reach out to him, tell him, hey, we should be friends. We have all this passion for cars, and I also have tons of surfing stuff that I do. And so I think I really need to meet him. And the very first time I met him right on downtown Huntington Beach, it was like I've known him for 30, 40 years.
Yep.
Laughing, telling me stories, and he's taught me a lot on how to be a YouTuber, like some of the things I need to do on my videos. And it's just so amazing for what he created, and now we're living out his legacy. So I'm just so great and very empowered to be a part of all this.
And it's part of it is that, my background is I was a builder and fabricator for many years. I was a SEMA member over 10 years. I've got 10 SEMAs under my belt. I've built several cars to the show, working 2 weeks with no sleep. I was an owner of a custom fabrication company and manufacturing company for several years. Unfortunately, after 9/11 and issues like that, I had to close the company. But I've been involved in custom automotive for over 35 years and pretty much my entire life. When I was 5 years old, I could tell you a 62 Mercury Montclair between a 64 Chevy Impala, and I'm a 4-year-old kid. And my parents are like, how do you know all these cars? And I already knew all the models of all the cars on the road by the time I was just a little bitty, because I had the passion from the second I was born. And the problem my parents had is they had to keep the tools locked up around my house because I tore everything apart. Didn't put it back together. And that was an issue. Okay. But I was really good at ripping everything apart. And so, yeah, my parents didn't know if they would come home and there'd be a toaster pulled apart or the TV would be in pieces in the living room or something like that. So, yeah, I didn't play sports. I did mechanics, science. I was your ultimate nerd. I got into surfing as a kid, and that kind of changed my life. And then I broke my neck when I was 29 years old in a racing accident. I used to run Class 5 cars out in the desert, and I had a bad accident and that ended my surfing. But here we are. So I don't know. I just enjoy doing this. I hope everybody else likes what I'm doing, and I'm going to continue to do it for as long as I feel comfortable doing it. And there's no guarantees how long this will last. And right now, with all the support and with the people that are also feeling a little bit of fulfillment, a little bit of completion, it makes it up. So here I am.
You were talking about a 64 Impala. Let me tell you a story, then you could tell me your craziest story. I actually was working for UPS in the 80s, and my car broke down, and so my mom's like, oh, you could take my car, 64 and a half Impala. And I'm about like 2 miles from the house. And I'm like, oh man, I'm going to open this baby up. So I opened it up, which normally takes me about 3 minutes to get home. It took me 45 minutes because I broke the accelerator cable because I went full throttle.
And you mashed it.
Boy, did I get in trouble. Yeah, and it did have some power. How about you? Do you have anything that you kind of got in trouble as a kid?
Oh, I built a 71 914 Porsche from the ground up. I bought it for $400. I drug it home, and I built it completely from the ground up at California Exotics. I worked there when I was probably about 29 years old, and we built the cars for Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I was one of the guys who built the Ferrari for Ferris Bueller's Day Off. We built 3 of them.
What?
And I was a kid, and I was just out of college, and we built these cars, and they were used in the movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and that's what kind of started everything for me. I have a film degree. I went to San Diego State. I have a Bachelor of Science in Television Film Development and Management. I worked in the industry for about 9 years. I'm on IMDb. I've been listed, in several different, registries and everything like that. So people always ask me, they go, well, what's your experience? How do you know this stuff? And I go, I don't really like to tell them, my background. And so, but then I let it out and they're like, oh, okay. So you have like 6 major feature films under your belt? I go, yeah. And MTV, I was a cameraman for MTV for Spring Break for several years. And I did, I traveled all over the world for MTV and at Discovery Channel, and it was a great career. But that was a long time ago. It was good 35 years ago. And, I'm a 61-year-old man now, and I'm no longer a 29-year-old surfer kid. And that's kind of how, so, I do the engineering thing, and I don't mean to go on, but so much of it was just, I felt for Dano. And I just felt that, you know what? I can talk, as you can probably guess, you guys. I can talk. And one of the things I like to do is narrate. And so I felt that I could take the combination of the camera skills, my automotive knowledge, and narration, and hopefully go out there and make it feel a little bit like Dano, because one of the things that Dano was so good at was relating to people and being able, like you said, you could talk to Dano and within 5 minutes, it felt like you knew him in 20 years. You've known him for 20 years. And, I'm not going to toot my own horn, but that is, I get a lot from the same people too. They say the same thing to me. It's like, my God, I talked to you for 5-10 minutes. It's like we've been friends for decades, and it's because you try to be approachable and you want to listen to what people have to say, and you want to know people for who they are. And that's, I think, a lot of what Dano did, is that he really took the time to listen, to know this person. And when he saw you the next time, it was always like he remembered you and he knew you.
Yeah.
The guy had an amazing memory, and just, he was able to sort things and just put things in perspective. That was just really cool. Really cool. So there you go. I don't know how else to put it, but that's my motivation for doing this. And I hope you guys continue to watch. I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to do some silly stuff too. Okay, so be aware.
Yeah.
Okay, we're getting ready to have a major desert explosion video coming out. Okay, I was out last weekend and I did some things that I'm not going to say I was proud of, but I'm going to say we had some really good fun. So as Cindy's showing right there, this is the amount of content that I've produced since the end of January. It's over 150 videos of all different events, quarantine crews, not much donut derelicts. There's a reason for that, is because I usually do the historic Main Street Garden Grove show for Diane Bain and crew over there. And Saturday is actually my only day I get to sleep in. And I've been going to derelicts for, 25 years. So, excuse me. So I guess I'm going to have to maybe re-examine, because a lot of people are asking me, hey, why aren't you going down to derelicts? And yeah. So I think I'll start going down to derelicts too.
So let's do some shout outs. So tell us what you're doing on Wednesday, what you're doing on Saturday, Sunday. Do some shout outs.
Well, first of all, don't forget Wednesday nights, we have our Surf City Classics Wednesday night cruise, downtown Huntington Beach. Been doing that now for several years. And as Brian always says, 52 weeks a year, and get yourself 52 Wednesdays a year and get yourself some of that. So that's at Main Street. It's Lake Park in Huntington Beach, 4 o'clock, and we usually cruise around 7. Now, Friday nights is a great show. It's the historic Main Street Garden Grove show. It's a historic Main Street show at Garden Grove. That's put on by Diane Bain and Rod Sexton. Rod is an amazing metal fabricator, and if you are into trophies, you will get the coolest trophy you've ever seen in your life. Me, with my buckets of crap, did I just say that? I'm not going to get a trophy other than a participation award, but I still like driving my old buckets and I have fun. So I am a car enthusiast, just like everybody else. I build my own vehicles. I do all my own mechanical work. I fabricate everything for myself. So that's one thing I do hold proud, is the fact that I turn wrenches as well as I shoot video. And you will see me out there. I just invented a training whistle for my friend Robert Wong. Robert Wong, OC Billiards, check it out. Bulletproof Enterprises, one of the best guys out there. He handles all the emails and everything for Surf City Classics for us. Also, Friday night is a great show. I ran into Custom Mike. Michael, he is an awesome guy. What a neat guy. And, you know, to have a man like that who is involved in the custom industry, to see what he's been doing and to have him come up and just shake my hand and just say thank you, I was shocked. I'm like, what? And he goes, yeah, thanks. And I'm like, for what? He goes, you got the heart, bro. He goes, you got the heart, you got the eye. And he goes, and that's what comes across. And you know what? And I go, and you know what? You too. I said, you are the man that I've been also checking out and watching. I'd like to give a shout out to Dylan Ruland. Dylan is an amazing young man. I am privileged to know him, and I am glad that him and I have become friends. And I'm also glad that people are realizing that I am there to support Dylan 100%. I have no intentions of doing anything other than to help him succeed. That is my number one goal. Is I want to see that young man really, really do something. I'd also send out a shout out to, oh gosh, I just faded. Sorry about that. To Treasure Bell and to Angel Marchand. They are doing the Cars and Brunch show, Newport Beach. It's at 32nd and Newport Avenue, right there at the pavilions in the shopping center at the Chihuahua Cerveza Tap House. It's a great show that goes off every Sunday morning. It's wonderful because it starts at about 8:30, 9 o'clock. You can come in. There's a great group of cars. There's good food. And you know what? You're out by 11 o'clock. It's a great Sunday. And also the original Balboa Car Show, there are some denizens. And I actually occasionally have a very, very good showing. Now, guys, I do have to mention, when you come down to Newport, if you do, please be aware of your exhaust. Okay, it is a very big deal right now. Back in the 80s, Newport clamped down hard, and we could not bring any, because I was doing hot rods in the 80s and the 70s as a kid, mostly Volkswagens, mini trucks, that kind of thing. I had full custom mini trucks. I had my first car, by the way, was a '65 Impala. But I just want to let you guys know, be aware of tickets for noise. So if you come down, just don't uncork and just light throttle in if you don't mind. And that way, you know, it'll be all cool. So, and then lastly, let's see, we have the Canberra's, it's the Good Times Block Party. I believe that's the first Saturday of every month at Canberra Speed Shop on Angus in Orange. Okay. And I could go on and on and on and on with all these different events, but I'm not going to bore you guys with that. I'm going to let Cindy go back now, and we'll go from here.
So tell us about Surf City Classics.
You know, I have never been a member of a car club in my entire life. I always ran as what we call a lone wolf. The major reason for that is because I was a custom car parts manufacturer, and I didn't want to align myself, because you know how people get a little funny about, you know, hey, you're with this club, so why am I going to buy parts from you? And so I just kind of always ran independent. But I had a full-blown manufacturing company, and I was one of the originators of Air Ride. I had my own wire wheel line. I had a full custom exhaust line. I had 38 wholesale distributorships in my company. And that's kind of what got me into the industry. That's where the SEMA, I was talking about SEMA earlier and all that. You know, people like Revo Reeves. Oh, by the way, Revo Reeves, Stitchcraft Interiors, one of my friends for 25 years, and a COVID survivor who spent almost 3 months recovering from COVID. He's back. He's working. Wow. So God bless you, Revo. I love you like a brother, man. And I'm glad that you're back. So other than that, I mean, I just got back into hot rodding in 2014. I bought a C10. I've been out of it for a long time, been, you know, gone through all different facets of life, and I kind of came back full circle. And then I met a man by the name of Daniel Patton. And then that's how this whole thing rolled into SCC. I joined a car club, and nice people, and and we're still all great friends, but it wasn't really for me. just wasn't the kind of folks, this is not my normal crew. I'm more of a loud and fast and get dirty and drive them hard and kind of guy. I'm not a trophy guy. I drive my vehicles. I drive them hard. And that's what I build them for. I don't build them for trophies. And so they're great folks, but they're trophy folks. So I decided to join a club of fellow car builders and runners, guys that aren't afraid to run our cars. So my good friend Steve Migliori, he dropped off the other club, and all of a sudden he disappeared. I go, "Where'd you go?" And he goes, "Oh, well, Surf City Classics." I'm like, "What's that?" I go, "Dude, you got me in this one club, and now you're in this other club? We had a club, you got to check it out." I'm like, "Thanks, man. I already paid my dues." No. But anyway, so I met them, and it was a really funny story because they used to be at Four Sons Brewery, and I came in there and I
love
pulled into my 74 C10, and there was Brian was standing. It's the first time I've ever seen Brian Almas, who's a great guy, and another guy by the name of Greg, and he was running the show. And Greg took one look at my truck and he goes, "You're out of here. You're not allowed in the club." I go, "What?" He goes, "Your truck's too new, and it's 72 and older in this club. Only Surf City Classic is 72 and older. That's it." And Brian looked at me. He looked at the truck, and he goes, "You're in, man." I go, "Really?" And he goes, "Yeah, you're in. I don't care. You're in." He goes, "This is a cool truck. You're in." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And Greg actually quit the club that night and never came back. He was so angry, and I'm sorry for that because he was a good guy. But that's how I ended up with the club. And then we slowly started looking at things, and we started discussing more and more. And we realized that hot rodding is generational. Okay, the people that drove Model Ts and buckets aren't around. And again, then the 32s are always going to be popular, but the Ts don't have the following like they used to because it's generational. So what's a hot rod today? It's a Lexus Sport F. That's a hot rod. Okay, it's a Mercedes 300 with dual compressor turbos, and that's been all remapped and running 20s, and he's on air. Those are today's hot rods. And so they talk a lot about the young guns and the preservation of the hot rods, but really the reality is it is really generational because you know what? You want the car that was cool to you in high school when you're in your 50s. So right now, look at all these guys that have their Tri-5s and their 60s, and now they're all up in my age. We're all in our 60s and stuff like that. But these are our high school memories. These are the things that we remember. And this is why I always say hot rod collecting is generational. And so what's going to be hot now 20 years from now? What's going to be that 32 Deuce Coupe? What is going to be the 69 Camaro SS? Well, you know what my thought is? It's probably going to be a Subaru WRX STI in blue with the dual turbos and the blow-off valves and everything like that. That's going to be the hot rod that people are going to be taking to the shows. It's going to be a Chevrolet Impala SS, the last of the Holdens. Those are the kinds of cars you're going to start seeing. And everybody's going to go, "Well, we don't care about these little cars." So I guess the only point here is that hot rodding and cars are fluid. And who knows, by 20 years from now, our hot rods may be all electric, and more likely they will be. And they're going to have every kind of setup and program and everything to defeat and to trick stuff and to do everything, but it's going to be all electric or hydrogen. So here we are today. This is what we enjoy, but I look to the future and know that hot rodding will continually evolve with technology. And it's going to be generational as it's always been. So I kind of went off tangent there, but the point of this being is that Surf City Classic sees that in that regard as well. And that's why I'm a part of the club. It's a great group of people, very progressive, do a lot to help people out. We honor our members. We honor our fallen. We do the bench out there at the park, Lake Park, and everyone that we lose from the club has a dog tag attached to Dano's bench. And if anybody's heard about Dano's bench, you know what I'm talking about. And so it's really a neat family. And I'm a man that really doesn't have any family. I'm all but an orphan at this point in my life. And it's really nice to be able to go and enjoy these people. And just like everybody out there, you're all my friends, and I really do dig it. So, yeah, I'm part of a family. I'm part of a club. Surf City Classics. Well, in the house. I can't get the camera thing right.
Yeah, it's on the other side. Well, yeah, we're running out of time on the show, but one thing I want to say, I still think that the late '60s and early '70s were the best cars because they were the chick magnet
1969.
cars. '65 Mustang, the '69 Camaro, El Camino really wasn't a chick magnet, but yeah, what do you think were some chick magnet cars back then? And then we'll close the show.
Well, you just mentioned my two favorite years, probably. 64 very close too, and I like 59 a lot too. But of the 60s muscle cars, the 70 muscle cars, 65 and 69 are my two favorite years. I do love a 67 Mustang Fastback 289, a 68 Charger any day of the week, a 69 RSSS Camaro in triple black. How about Willie Automotive? His 68 Camaro is beautiful black 68 Camaro.
Wow.
That's a wonderful car. But honestly, it's the 65 Chevelle, it's the 69 Camaro, it's the 69 Chevelle, and it's the 65 Impalas that are really in the 64 because I've owned 7 64 Impalas. And so one of my actually cars went to Dr. Dre. My 64 convertible I sold to Dr. Dre in 2000. He bought that from me. And there you go.
That's awesome. How about the 69 Firebird?
You know, I love the 69 Firebird, and my good friend Bernie has 2 of them. And it's a special car. You have to have a like for the car. And it's so funny that it's such a well-built car. And it's the same car as the Camaro, and it just doesn't command the market share or the respect in the hot rod world that it should, because it's really, in a lot of ways, it's got a lot more going on than the Camaro in some areas, you know. But the Camaro is the Camaro, no matter what. But yes, I do like a 69 Firebird.
Yeah, my brother had one. I think when he was 16, and he rear-ended somebody because he was checking out a chick on the main highway there, and yeah, boom, and then that was it. And it just sat for like 20 some years, and ended up just selling it. But yeah, that was a nice car when it was drivable.
Yeah, it's funny. I always liked the hood tack. I always thought on the Pontiac that hood tack was just the coolest thing in the world. And of course, their PMC wheels and red lines. You know, with the Pontiac PMC wheels, and then of course I had my mom's friend had a '68 Le Mans, and it had the hood mounted tack, and it had the Coke bottle shape, and it was cool. It was a very cool car, and I never forgot that car. But it's a funny thing too. I've owned all kinds of cars. I've owned Alfa Romeos, I've owned Porsches. You know, you don't understand. Anything that has 4 wheels that I love it. I'm a Porsche-phile. You know, I love Triumphs. I love MGs, Fiats. You know, you name it. If it's fun, I love it. I even like the little micro Japanese cars.
Exactly. We're running really late today, but I had such a blast with you today. As always, I always enjoy talking to you. So I'm going to put you in the green room. If you could just hang tight there for about half a minute, I'm going to close out the show, and then we'll chat for like 5 minutes, and then get.
And I apologize for talking everybody's ear off. I'm not used to doing this,
fine.
But it was really exciting to be on, and thank you.
I just wanted to mention the 69 Camaro because I know when my brother was driving it, yeah, it was a pretty sweet ride. So I did want to mention it because you don't see too many. I'm not Camaro, the 69 Firebird. Yeah, you don't see a lot of those out there. So
great car. So
I'm going to pop you in the green room, and I'll see you in just half a minute. Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you,
do a shout out to your YouTube page, please.
Oh, my YouTube page?
Yes.
My direct URL is PCTV Comfort Vision on YouTube. Let's get that drive to 1,000 completed. We're 25% of the way there. We need to finish that. I can go live, and we can continue to honor Dano's memory. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll see you in just a minute.
Okay, guys.
Well, there you go, guys. Make sure that you follow his YouTube. You want to go to youtube.com, look for PCTV Comfort Vision, tons of car porn, tons of truck porn, and definitely stay tuned for all these amazing shows that we have coming up. For right now, we're planning this probably about once a month because I do have another show on Buckless Coach Web Show. It's every Wednesday at 1, 2, and 3 o'clock. And make sure that you also follow my YouTube at Where's Cindy Now. But if you go to Patrick's page and you hit that subscribe button, make sure you hit that bell icon. And of course, you want to subscribe and comment and tell your friends, and you could win the 3-night giveaway. So you're going to go to 3nightgiveaway.com, and we'll see you on the next show. Woohoo! Shaka, baby.